All right, you guys should be back. You guys should be back. I just need to change the screen. There we go. Refresh, yeah. Yeah, you have to, yeah, it's hard. With digital art, it's really different because I'm a pen, I should show you, like I'm a pen and ink guy or a pencil guy, right? So I do everything like pencil or pen work. So it's really difficult to get used to doing things in layers when you're used to doing, things like, hold on, let me find a good picture. Like this, I did a pen and ink for Inktober, and I did a scarecrow, right? So I did a whole Halloween scene. It's really hard to get used to when you do something in ink and then you're trying to go digital, that you want to do things in layers. So that way, if like the eyes should be their own layers, the mouth, the head, so you can move objects without having to redraw it. Like if I had to do this and I wanted to redraw it, I wanted to move the scarecrow over, I'd have to redraw the whole image, right? And with the digital part of it, if you do it digitally and you remember to do things in pieces, you can remove everything. Like so some of the others, where is it? Like we did this rhinoceros, right? I don't know if you guys can see that, a little light. Yeah, there we go. And it's completely different. In my mind, it's a completely different process. I did a peacock too, right? Which is very, when you do a pen and ink drawing of something, it's a completely different process than doing it digitally, right? So it's hard because when you're in here and you're doing everything in layers, like I did this one in layers. Like say for example, I want to get rid of, and this is where it's good. Say I want to change the pattern on the bowl. Well, I can get rid of the pattern because I did the pattern separately. So say I want a plain bowl, or I want a pattern, or I don't want this bowl, I want to put a different object in, so I can get rid of that, put something else there. But you really have to get used to, saying, okay, well, if I'm going to do everything, it's basically everything's in pieces, right? And it's hard. It's really hard because I've watched streamers who do this, and like each eye would be its own layer, each facial feature, especially if you're going to animate. Like if I was going to animate this in like say live 2D or some 3D program, and you're dealing with points, everything would have to be individual because you need the mouth to be able to move independently of the eyes, independently of the face. So each thing would have to be its own layer. Ears, each ear its own layer, and each one would move differently. So it's a different process, right? It's a completely different process on the way you construct it. Like even when I was testing colors, I put colors on its own layer, so I could say, maybe I don't like this color, and I'll change it out, and I just want to kind of get a look at it, see how it goes, that kind of thing. But it is different. It's a completely different process. And part of it, it really is the whole layer thing is about moving things. Like here, for example, we were doing a sketch earlier. Like if I drew, we're drawing a person, say, and I did this, just a simple basic person, right? And this is my guy, and I wanted to move that. Well, it's one layer, so the only thing I can do is either move the whole object, you just pick up and move the whole object, or if I want to draw, like say I want to move an individual object, you'd have to go in and select just that object, so you can move it. However, the problem is when you go to color, say you were to color that object, if you didn't color that object within its own color thing, you can't move the color. If it's not on its own layer, you cannot move the color. So the line of the eye would move, but the color of the eye would stay. So it's really, in digital art, it's really, learn how to layer the objects. It's tough, and Hey, Ralden, you know, how you doing? Ronaldin. Spelt that wrong, goat. Yeah. Hey, Joyful, welcome in. Oh, Laundry, I hit a drop, yep. Wow, skipped off twice, yeah. Good. Alright, yeah. But yeah, so it's it's basically just, you know, layers. Learning how to do layers. And color schemes and whatever. But a lot of these too, like I do for like coloring books. We did oh yeah, I didn't show that, did we? We did that last year. And it may still come out. We did a coloring book, I think it was, who was it? Crafty Lady. We did a coloring book for what's that? Men's Health for November. So we did a November gnomes for a coloring book. So I did I took the original Wizard of Oz scene, turned them into gnomes, you know, and it's a full-blown, you know, coloring page. I did it with I did some, you know, Star Wars characters. These are for coloring, you know, where I took different helmets, noticeable helmets, and made a coloring page. So if you go from left to right, you have your speeder bike trooper, Boba Fett, Darth Vader, rebel pilot, you know, Bosch, Princess Leia, Stormtrooper, Captain Rex, and Queen Amidala. I then took the Tea Party scene from Alice in Wonderland, based off the book cover, or based off the original book image, you know, and did that. And these should still come out, I think. I'm not 100% sure. We did like 20 gnomes on a page. And it's completely different, right? It's one of those, a lot of these I try to do, and I leave them so if somebody wants to color them, you know, color them, right? Because I always get mad when I look at a coloring book and say, oh, you know, I want to, like I remember trying to buy a Star Wars coloring book or something, and they had all the black lines done. It's like, well, wait a minute, I want to do the black lines myself. I want to do the shading. I don't want you to do them all for me. So you're just adding color. And I was like, that didn't do it for me. Other than that, I do a lot of emotes, a lot of animated emotes, a lot of regular ones. Like one of the ones on my channel is this chicken. We did a hugging monkey, which is animated. Simple animation, just color swapping. And it really depends too on some of the way you do it, or whether or not you're gonna oh, my birthday cake. Yeah, this one's cool. My hype cake. This one was fun. This was I made a cake that explodes. You know, hype. And that was fun to do. And I did it the old way, where I cut and moved the pieces and colors, and that was one of the first animations I did. Now if I redo it, it'd probably be easier. The yummy gnome, the parachute gnome? No, okay. No. Oh. Okay. All right, just let Supreme know you're there. Yeah. Yeah, another one. Oh, and then if Scuba Lou is here, last year she was doing neurographics, which really got me doing, for a while there, I started doing neurographic art based off of what she was doing. And that's where my lighthouse kind of looks that way. And I did art, neurographic style art, digitally, which is fun to do, relaxing. Took different objects. You know, you'll see different things in them. It's all, you know, but I took a variation of it, but the process is really good, right? Which is fun. But yeah. Did I miss anything else in chat? Let me see here. Very cute, very creative. Yeah, the black is in any ink drawing. The same as, it's different too in watercolor and painting, right? Like if you're doing ink and watercolor, and here's a good, I guess I can show you too, because this is where it gets really interesting. I gotta keep going this way. Hold on, I gotta too many files open. Oh, it's not gonna let me do it. Let me close some of these. Hold on. I gotta close some of these because I need space. So here's a good thing, right? And this is a good point. And I'm going to use watercolor because that's the example. In watercolor, like say you do black, right? That's not watercolor, that's a round brush. Watercolor. Say you do this, right? You add this black, right? You cannot go back and put white in there, right? So when you do something and you put any color and you want to leave something white, you basically have to go around the white object and don't ever touch it. You know, you have to, if you want to leave something light, leave it light, right? And that's the hard part. And it's the same with ink. If you're doing a pen and ink drawing, once you put black on the page, you lost the white, you can't ever get it back. It's not like paint where you can paint white on top of, you know, art, right? It gets totally erased. So you have to be aware when you're doing anything that's like watercolor, pen and ink. It's a different process than say just put paint on it and cover it. Like if this was paint, you know, and I'm just putting thick paint on here, I can turn around and put white right over it. You can't do that with watercolor. Like if I put white over this, oh, that's ink. If I try to do that with watercolor, I can't do it. I cannot put white over the dark and lighten it. It doesn't happen, right? And it's the same with pen.
Master.
Right.
Master, we have a visitor.
Maybe just rated 49. Welcome in, Raider.
With 49 viewers.
I got 2 different alerts going off right there. Welcome in, welcome in. Okay, let me go through this. Welcome in, Kohaku 4 Games, K Meow 17, Mama Katie Unicorn, Grilled Cheese Now, Lifted Little Life. Welcome in, welcome in. We're just discussing paint and ink and Positively Crafty with the check-in. Thank you for the check-in. Pixie Sands, welcome in. How's everybody? What were you up to? What were you guys doing tonight? Did it say, or did I miss it? Let me roll up and look. I probably missed it. It should have given. Okay, there it is. Buzzing in High, maybe Crafty Queen, Bistros, Creamy Greens, Cozy Games, Brick Building, and Crochet. From Pallia to Peak. Oh, you're playing Peak. Collab stream. Nice. Well, welcome in. Also a Mocha Loco, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct? Is that a correct assumption? I can't remember. You're doing something for St. Jude, are you not? Yeah, St. Jude supporter. Yeah. Welcome in. Thank you for the alert. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for popping in. I appreciate it. But yeah, so when you're doing, you know, ink drawings or watercolor, it's a different process than doing just a standard paint or pencil, color pencil, you know, because color pencils, you know, great, right? I do everything in color pencils, you know. In markers can be sometimes scary at times, depending on how you use them, right? But we're working on, like this one, you know, that I'm working on. You know, when I go to color this, you know, like I did watercolor here just to test because I want to test certain colors. I will go through and, you know, whether I'm using paint or marker and say, okay, let's do it and get it right, and we'll sort it out, you know, but it'll be fun. We can't not lie, all the horns. Thank you for the lurk. Yeah, welcome in. Welcome to Nova Scotia, or New Scotland. If I don't know if she explained it to you, but it's called New Scotland. And if you look at the flag here, I will enlarge this flag for a second to talk about it. Like in the center of that flag is the Scottish royal family crest. That's their heraldry line. That's in the center of our flag because we're basically, you know, part of that, right? That's how Nova Scotia came about. It used to be given to royalty of Scotland. And we have a large British loyalist part of Nova Scotia. We also have a large Acadian French part of Nova Scotia. And it's kind of neat because we're technically an island off the coast of the Atlantic seaboard, similar to PEI Newfoundland, connected by a causeway or a little jut of, and we're technically an island. And part of the New England states too, I guess. Mobile sick for shout out, sorry about that. But yeah. So welcome in everybody, and we'll get to drawing this or working on this. We're working on something. Where is it? Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. Any questions or art, we will talk and we will get creative here. I need to get off of this marker. Check the line work. Try not miss anything. Maybe eat a snack. Welcome in. Oh my god, it's hot. That's so then Quilted Hearts was working on you saw her stream. She had the Nova Scotian tartan down. She was working on a loom piece too, which I didn't know she 3D printed. That loom was a 3D printed loom, so I may have to print one of those. Those are actually kind of cool. There's more than 50, isn't there? Well, I'm stopped 50, and there should be. I'm thinking there's more now because they're doubles. But yeah. So let me close some of these windows because I got too many. And if you have any questions on art or anything, feel free to ask because I don't mind explaining it or walking through people through stuff. The hardest part for this one is going to be figuring out a color combination I like. And getting the right shade of colors. Oh, wait, an ad break? Aw, crap, okay. Just so you know. Holy crap, that's hot. Yeah, they run every half an hour, too, if you can hear me.
A few moments later.
Haha. Welcome in, Shipwreck. So Joy thinks I'm a toy, huh? Welcome in, Tina. How are you doing? Giger. Ha! Doesn't matter. Welcome in, Chips. Alright. I get called all kinds of things. You at work? Well, I'm okay. Kind of all over the place, but I'm okay. At least I'm not on medication. And that's a weird one, coming off some of that medication. It's like withdrawals, like sleeping all the time. I've been sleeping like 15 hours a day. It's not fun. And you can't do anything about it. You're just sleeping. Like I remember the other day, I think I was talking to Joy too about it. I went to bed. I slept for 9 hours. I got up, had something to eat. You know, went back, basically up for an hour and a half, as I watched Scoobaloo and a couple other people in the morning. Went back to bed for another 5 hours. I was like, well, I went the whole day. And then got up and streamed. And I was only up for, whatever hour stream and then back to bed. It was terrible. But you really can't do anything about it, when you're coming off the medication. You're trying to get healthy. Your body's basically chemotherapy and radiation is just plays hell on your body. Real trouble. I gotta save this file too. Hold on, I've got to resave this file. Oop, that wasn't it. File, save as, draw, the color, coloring page. And then I want to reopen. Need to reopen this. Where'd it go? And then we'll close the other one. There. That way I'm actually drawing on one and save one as a coloring blank. Alright. Now the fun part of trying to figure out colors. Finding the right shade of colors. I wish it would be simpler. I really do. I wish digital art was a lot easier, but it's not. Colors like an orange, and this is a process too. It depends on how I do this, right? Like if I wanted to make this like a paint project versus like a marker project, but we'll do markers first, and we'll start with the top just to show you how this works, right? For those of you watching on YouTube, yeah, it'll be interesting for you. So we're gonna choose kind of a goldenrod color, and the cool part is, if you did your line work correctly. I could go in two ways. You can go in and select the objects that you want to color. And I'm just going to select these earpieces. And then you can go layer, new layer, color layer, or fill layer. Pick your color, and I can just fill. Why didn't that fill the rest of the color? Fill the rest of the colors. Why is it not letting me fill? Oh, I've got to select. And why is it not selecting multiple? Oh, there we go. I hate when new program does something different. Anyway, so then you can make your colors, right? And it's on its own layer, which is nice. Which also means I need to do the black layer darker, and I need to move those down below line layer. So I need a color. I need a folder. Oh boy, where is it? I need a new folder. Yeah, below all the line stuff. I can put the color layers in because they need to be below the lines. Once I move it below the lines, then you can see the lines. See, that's the other trick too with digital art. You have to, when you put things in place, they have to have a certain order to them when they stack. Otherwise, it won't work properly. So there's an example where if that color layer is above the line layer that it's using, it will get rid of the lines. You won't be able to see it. And it makes it hard that way. But now if I pick a new layer and say I want to lighten the color, we're going to stay in the same family though, and we're going to go Here, oh, not that light. That's gonna be more yellow. Hold on, we gotta go more yellow. Oh, Jesus, this is gonna be hard to pick her face color. It's probably down here. Nope. Oh, picking a color is gonna be hard. She's got... It's too yellow. Well, there we go. That's probably close, or better. And we'll leave it like that. But yeah, you want to do each layer on its own colors. There's multiple ways to do it. But yeah. God, I feel like I gotta figure out, because we're so quiet. Fountain pen. Ah, you bought a fountain pen. That's awesome. Are you gonna buy one? That's cool. Yeah, I like, you know, it's funny. I like watching the ads. I have, so when I watch people, I have Turbo. So I watch people on the Turbo account, and then I will watch sometimes on a different account because I want to see, like I like watching my ads and see what it comes up, and it's so cool how it works. Like one of my accounts, it's basically all food. I get more McDonald's ads than anything. And the other one I get, you know, whatever else, technology, computer, whatever, gaming. So it's kind of interesting when you watch it. But I actually enjoy watching the ads because it's kind of a neat way of me seeing what's out there that, you know, I don't get out much. So because I feel like with COVID, you know, we were all locked away for so long, you never get to see anything. Yeah, I still think that's too yellow. It's got to go whiter. Let's go whiter. This is when we're going to highlight the crap out of this and shade this. Love string cheese. Lost a napkin. You get baby prime ads? When are you looking at baby clothes? Planning on having more kids? Joy what? That baby prime is funny. New layer. Baby stuff. Never know, you may want something. Yeah, I love babies. They're fine until they ask for a car. When they start asking for cars and stuff, not so fun anymore. Like, nope. You know what we should do? We should do the background color because it's going to be hard to see here. Now, why did it do that? Layer's not. That was weird. It kind of hung that layer up like it was color-wise, but we'll see. 6. Oh, you're staying busy. And if you don't know, if you haven't seen Joyful or Supreme Doom, they're both paper crafters. Make lovely cards. And a good fun. Need a layer for the mouth. if we can get this person somewhat close. Oh, I like that color. No, you do. You do. No, you do. I always give credit where credit's due. I enjoy watching paper crafters. Oh yeah, my wife did paper crafts. I should show off that stuff. Remind me one day. I'll get that box and show off what she used to do. Of course, she was an all-around crafter. She could do anything. Like, and I've got some unfinished projects of hers that I would like to finish, but like, I mean, she did me this toque, which I love and baby. And oh, I guess I should explain that story. If you don't know me, I used to be a treasurer for a registered charity in Canada, a historical society. So for the last 7 years before I got sick with cancer, my wife and I had created a craft cooperative, which we ran out of one of their old buildings to help raise money for the charity and keep the lights on, but at the same time, a way for crafters like all of y'all to get together and be able to sell their goods. So over the 7 years, we've had 120 different crafters that ranged from everything. I mean, we had woodworkers, knitters, crocheters, rug hookers, painters, whatever. So we ran this shop for 7 years. And basically, it originally started out as a way of, taking the people from the craft group and the local seniors and having a way for them to supplement income. Because a lot of the seniors, as you know, they sit and craft and they get a collection of stuff and have nowhere to sell it. So it started out that way, and then it grew into, full-blown craft show. Of course, we were relatively cheap. You paid, and this is what's going to everybody, because I mean, it was a registered charity, so you paid $10 a month and then 15% of sales. We didn't charge tax. That was all built into your price, because in Nova Scotia, if you're a crafter, if you're under $30,000 crafting, you don't have to claim HST or tax on it, because that law was in effect back when the war, to give women, stay-at-home people a chance to make money. So we created this craft cooperative, and I got to see all kinds of crafts, from cards, paper crafts, jewelry, metalworking, woodworking, beadworking, and there are tons of lovely artists and artisans. And then I also did a open air painting show or auction, where we, for a couple of years, where we grabbed a lot of local artists, painters, some of them pretty world renowned. One of them used to do romance novel covers and still does. The other one is a well-known Canadian artist, and they would paint whatever subject matter I would create in front. You get a couple hours to paint it, and then we turn around and auction it during a tea. So it was good fun. So I've been in the craft circuit business for a while, and that's why I have all these bracelets, for one, because that's what I did. My wife, on the other hand, did paintings and knitting, and she did shawls and scarves and sweaters and everything, right? Like, not me. I'm not that talented, but that's what she did. And so it was fun. So I learned. So for me, like, when I watch other crafters, I'm very aware of what it takes to do it. I'm also aware of the accounting side of it, because I was an accountant, of what it costs to make it, to sell it, to put it in a shop, because over here, most of our craft shows, they charge you $200, $300 a weekend, right? And then they want 50% of what you sell or something. So it's like it's like not fair, right? And so we created this way mostly for seniors to supplement income. And it was only open like during the summer. So we did anywhere from, I think we started out at 4 months to it ended up being 6 months out of the year. and people were making, you know, I mean, selling. And I'm gonna give an example. This one lady, she knitted like little stuffies, like little crocheted. I don't know. She knitted like little things like this, right? You know, like this is a kit, crochet kit I'm gonna do of an animal. She used to knit stuffed animals and you know, things for kids. She made thousands of dollars in a summer. It was unbelievable what you could actually sell, you know, craft wise, because people, you know, especially during COVID and other things, it was really cool. So I got to work with a lot of crafters, and I still work with a lot of them. You know, they go to craft shows and they, you know, ask advice and whatever, or, you know, they run, a lot of people still run designs and patterns through me, and I'm like, yeah, I'll show you. But it was really cool because we set it up in a shop format, not a table format. So you didn't have a 6-foot table of space. We had 2 rooms. We put everything, kind of mixed it all together, themed in shop. So if you had stuff Nova Scotia, you know, tartan stuff over in one, you know, kitchen stuff, you know, etc., right? And it was a really cool experience. And you got to see a lot of talented crafters. And I think the neatest part was we were able to, you know, for me, it was able to give somebody the confidence to be able to put their stuff out there because they're really good. I mean, you'd be surprised how many people, you know, most crafters are very shy, wouldn't think of selling what they make, but it's unbelievable, some of the stuff. And unfortunately, in today's world, most younger people, and I'm gonna say people under 35 or 40, I guess is now the new young, they don't have a respect or a what is it called, the sentimental value of, you know, somebody knitting you a hat or knitting you socks or mittens. You know, that's not as important anymore. And it's sad to see. It really is. But yeah, so I always give credit to crafters and what they do, and I watch, you know, dearly, right? Like all the crafters in here that I watch on a regular basis, you know, do a great job. Like earlier today, let me just go through the list. Scoobaloo, great painter. She's currently doing beadwork. Disaster Crafter is another very good paper crafter. There's excellent cards. I mean, they're very organized on color patterns. And she's currently doing junk journals. Cricket Bug, she did lovely glasses. If you saw her bead these glasses, they were gorgeous for the sweating she did. Love them. A lot of people do diamond painting too, which is really cool. Oh, Candace does rug hooking. That's awesome. Kaylee was a new one for me, and I was actually impressed with the animation things. I'm gonna have to watch her a lot more because that was really neat. Watching that animation sequence. Yeah, here it's not so much. It's kind of the opposite here, unfortunately. And it seems like here, for some reason, everybody's got this, either the sense of entitlement or they want everything cheap. You know, like, and I always tell crafters, like, and I'm going to use a toque, for example. You can buy a toque in the store, and I'm going to say Walmart, $5, right? You're going to hand make a toque. Don't sell it for $5. You better sell it for 10 to 20. You handmade that. Don't worry about what is in Walmart. Kids are going to go buy in Walmart anyway, but when you buy a gift for somebody who's a beautifully handmade toque, you know, it's worth it. I mean, down here in Shelburne last year, it was funny. Shelburne is a very big tourist area, right? It's got the oh my god, the African American was it Book of Negroes? It's got a museum there for that. It's got a Scarlet Letter was filmed there. It's got a very old historic part of town. So it's a very heavy tourist place. They were selling wool socks for $100 or more a pair, right? Where we were, a couple hours up the road, you're not going to get a half of that. There's no way. It was, the area is not doing it. I mean, just because, 10 minutes down the road is Oak Island, people coming to see Oak Island aren't going to pay $100 for socks. It's just not going to happen. Right? Typically when they come, they go into Oak Island. You're coming to see Oak Island. So that, that's, I guess that's the other big thing too. If you live in Nova Scotia, we have Oak Island, which is, if you ever watch it on the History Channel, which is a very good treasure hunt for the, some of the oldest treasure. Some of the stuff they found is going to rewrite history on who came to North America first, kind of thing. But, it's a very good place. It's been closed to the public for the last few years because of COVID and other things, but it's really cool. Oak Island's a very good experience. I love it. If you ever watched on the show, on the History Channel, it's great. The only problem is I can't do the narrator. I can't do his voice over every show. Welcome back, Joy. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, so I ran a craft cooperative. So, I always give credit, where credit's due. I mean, you see people do beautiful work, just let them know they do a great job. Be kind to one another. It's unbelievable. Yeah, well, at least you get to sit here and watch me while you're at work. Most of the time, I've been gaming because I don't want to focus on anything. But need another layer here. I got to remember to label all these layers too, because I need to do that. That's got to be some red, but we don't know what this is yet, so we'll just leave it like that. And I should. This fill layer, I want to say her cheek colors are that color. And we did the white, and that means her neck should be this. And so should her hands. And like we were talking last night too, Joy, I guess people don't know. And this is just a base layer of color because I have to do shadowing, shading, and highlighting still. And here's a good tip. Let me show you this. Because of the way, if I do not put the colors for the head here, let's say I don't pick the colors for this head. When I go to move this face, the colors do not move. See that? The colors, because of the way I put the layers, the colors are stuck to the page where they are.
We have a visitor.
Thank you for the follow, Skyline. So that's a thing you have to be aware of when you're doing layers, and I have to get better at that, is to put all the layers for what I'm doing within the object. So cancel. Oh, I gotta get out of there. Cancel. So for example, this one, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna put a folder directly under that unit, and then I'm gonna move all of the colors that I just did into that folder. If I can find it. Come on. I think this will work. Hopefully I did this. Oh, it's the wrong folder. Where's the folder? Oh no, let's put that folder under the head. Oh, those are all in that one. Hold on. Directly under the head. So now, if I go to the head, and I select the head and that folder, I should be able to move the whole object. No, it didn't work. Huh. I'm going to figure out why that didn't work. Because that should have taken... Cancel. Alright, merge it to the top. And maybe folder on... No, it's got to be folder underneath, right? merge it. This is one of those no data to transform. Oh, it's because I put a new folder there. Hold on, that's wrong. Don't need that folder. Where's the merge button? Can I not merge this to the one below it? Oh, here it is. Should now be linked to where I can move it. No. Alright, that's going to drive me nuts. I'm going to have to figure that out. Oh, thank you for the lurk. Going to bed. Yeah, this is where Europe's about to go to sleep. Some of you guys are getting late. North America's got to wake up. Huh. I'm going to have to figure out how to do that properly. Because it should have linked. Wait, where are the colors? Oh, the colors aren't in there, that's why. 4, 5, 6. Move them up into this folder. Now, if I select that folder, move it. Yeah, then see the colors move, right? The whole head, I can move the whole head. That's what I have to do and figure out how that works. So then you have to make a layer just for that object so you can move the object correctly. Cancel and put that back. So I need to undo the hands. So we'll go back to unfill that. And I don't know how to do that. We'll figure it out. But yeah, so digital art, learning process. Drives me crazy. And of course I'm snacking on pepperoni and salami right now. Sorry about that if you guys are hungry. You know the funny part, and I'll probably do it for next year's stream, and I'll make sure I get an earlier time. I was actually going to have one of our favorite meals around here ready to eat. I was going to have a lobster supper. And eat a lobster supper on stream, but then I thought, I better not do that because I might get somebody mad. You know, if I'm sitting there eating a lobster supper while we're hanging out. It would be good for me, not so much for everybody else, but yeah, kind of funny. But yeah, so I'm from a province. It's kind of pretty well laid back compared to everywhere else in Canada. We're the second earliest as far as time goes. Because the first one being Newfoundland, which is half an hour difference from us. Ooh, Sassy Cat's back. Welcome back. But yeah. Alright, so now I've got to uncolor the hands. And I don't know how to do that. So what I should do is copy this layer. I'm going to delete. Oh no, wait. I'm going to make a new layer. Then I'm going to delete this layer. And then I'm going to add the color back. To just, oh. That's what I thought. Let me do this first. Now I will delete that layer. There. Now the head is all attached to one color. Alright, Joy. Joy's at work. Thank you for being here too, by the way, Joy. Alright, so then we'll put the head in its own folder. All the colors attached to it. And now, if I select that folder and I move it, or if I hide that folder, I can get rid of just the head. Oh, cancel. I can get rid of just this piece. Oh, you're not going to do it. Why are you not doing it now? You're going to move, but you're not going to let me... Oh, no, you're not going to let me do it. Why aren't you doing it? We just had it working. Why isn't it not working? Because the colors aren't in the folder. Oh, you scared the crap out of me. The what? I can't read that. Sorry. A little busy. read out loud. We're gonna get you there. All right, so that should be all the colors for the head. Now if I, yeah. So now that I have everything in, I can remove or keep. And so that's the part of the thing is, I guess with digital art, you really need to learn how to put things in folders and organize properly. And if you don't know how to organize properly, you should take a lesson from Joyful Designs. She's an excellent organizer. Excellent organizer. You see her craft space. I mean, my office looks like a bomb shelter or something. I've got to clean up and throw a bunch of stuff out. I feel bad. I really do. It's kind of funny. Welcome in, Celtic Glass. Hello. Or somehow I touched the lens of my glass. I can't see. There we go. All right. So now that we've got the coloring down on the face. Oh, no, I got to do the balls on her hair. Was there a break? Oh, welcome back, everybody. So during the break, if you didn't hear me, I was saying if you need help with organizing, you should see Joyful Design. She's an excellent organizer. All right, I guess that's the way that's going to have to work. I got all the head colors in place. So does everybody have a good weekend? Everybody enjoying the raid train? Having fun? Getting to learn a little bit about the world? Wait a minute, if I remember, Masked Bandit was doing the cross stitch, and then Originals was doing the book with the flags from Netherlands. Was that correct? That was correct for today? Yep. And that was such an interesting technique too of taking a book, pasting it, and keeping the glue. I don't want to say glue. I want to say hodgepodge, but I don't think, or Mod Podge or whatever, but I don't think that's correct either. Of whatever, and making the book solid, so it was like a, museum. Yeah, Mod Podge. It was like a museum piece. I mean, that was a great technique. That was lovely. I love the way that worked. Gave me all kinds of ideas. But I would have never thought of taking a book and doing that. Even though I'm the nut job with 3 degrees. I'd never do that to a book. It's kind of funny. My first degree, I have a bachelor of, I should go through them. I have a Bachelor of Arts in English. I was going to be a high school English teacher. But the politics with what you can and can't do with students and teach, I decided better. I'm not going to do that. So then I went back and got a commerce degree, bachelor in accounting. And then I went back last few years back, because after COVID, I was like, I need something to do. So I went back and I got a computer science degree, computer science and business administration, which I was on the dean's list. So basically I can program the accounting software that I'm using and use correct English doing it. It's kind of funny. So I have 3 degrees, and it's like, I feel like going back and getting a master's and spending more time at university. I'm probably too old to do that, but. Yeah, never too old. You've been enjoying the train, Lurk? Yeah, the train's been very good. A lot of interesting stuff. And I hope newcomers, get to come in and you get to, see a lot of good crafters. Wait, Sassy, you did painting yesterday, right? Did you paint yesterday? Yeah, you did painting. Binge Bear from Scotland did the wolf. Yeah, I like the raid train. It's a good break from the. Of course, now I'm sitting here thinking, and I just had salami and cheese strings, and now I'm thinking about cracking open this coffee crisp and having that. But man, I tell you, it's been fun. It's been fun. All right, so back to this drawing. Oh, now I gotta do the other parts of the body. I do not want to do the other parts of the body. Yeah, we're gonna do a fancy bowl. The bowl. Well, see, the funny part is if you look at this picture, and we had this conversation last night in stream, and maybe people don't know, what is the focal point of this picture, right? And that's the question. Like, so for example, we'll say, Sassy, what's your answer for the focal? Where's the main part of this picture? A lot of people think the main part of the picture is whoops. Why don't I have a pen? Why is that pen not working on that layer? Did I not pick a color? Is here, right? A lot of people think, oh, it's going to be the person, which is incorrect because the actual focal point of this picture is this bowl right here. It's not the person. The person is a background object. The object in front is going to be the most, prolific. Right. So a lot of people, see it as a bowl, but when you see like a cute character that and say, oh my God, that's Isabel. It's about Isabel. No, it's not about Isabel. It's about the bowl itself. What's in the bowl. And that's the interesting part, because with art, you can basically do whatever you want. You put any image, any picture, whatever you like in your art. But you have to remember that a lot of times where the focus is, in the art. And it's like when you watch them. And it's interesting too, like you watch paper crafters. And I'm going to use the example the other day when Joy was doing the tearing pieces apart and layering them to make a landscape. When you look at that and you look at the way the color pattern went on that, it turned out lovely. A lot of people, yeah, exactly. If you don't know the rule of threes or you don't know, the color wheel, how it works, what's complementary, what's not, what's, how colors and things go together, it makes it really hard to put things together. But if you happen to know it and you follow just the basics, you can take something and make it so pretty. And it's unbelievable. I remember the hardest part too. When you run a craft show or whatever, and you have a bunch of knitters, and say for example knitters are all doing dishcloths or socks or something, they all do the same thing. And you buy your yarn at Mary Maxim or whatever, or wherever you buy it, it doesn't matter. The problem is, if you buy the stuff that's on sale where the color combinations don't really go together, you're never going to sell the item that you made. You need to figure out colors and learn how colors go together. Yeah, some actually, could color very well. Like my late wife could, oh my God, with color, she was flawless. Whatever she made knitted sold like instantly because she could put colors together. And she was always on top of what the current fashion color was going to be for the year. So and that's another thing too. If you're a fiber artist who makes scarves, toques, mittens, things that you're going to try to sell in a shop in the following year, know what the colors are for that fashion going to be. Because if you're going to make purple and purple was last year and this year is red, you're not selling anything. You really have to know what's coming. And unfortunately, I think most people don't pay attention to that. It's actually huge when selling something in a local market. That's right, I can't draw on that because that's in a folder. I would have to put that. here, I think, right? Yeah. Can't draw on that. Nice.
Practical Porch just redeemed Hi, I am lurking.
Thank you for the alert, Practical Porsche. Welcome in, welcome in. Love it. Lurking. Yeah, let's... Oh man, this ramen bowl is going to be hard. Alright, we can try doing the bowl, but I should do that last. It's going to be hard. And like we were talking the other day, because I did color scheme of... Where is it? This. Like I wanted to do pink on pink for this robe, right? And that's usually like one of the things I say don't ever do is put two pinks together, because it's really hard to go anywhere else. But then when you look at this picture and you look at a color wheel, you know, you look at a triangle. Do I have a triangle? Does this one do the triangle? Color mixing. Do I have a triangle? I gotta remember how these work. No. Like when you look at this color wheel, you know, if I'm down here in pink, you know, and you make your triangle, which then goes to yellow, then it goes to this baby blue. You know, I've already done that in this picture where the lady is in the yellow, she's wearing the pink, and the background is blue, and then those match. So then those become, you know, you get your 3-color combination that matches. So, and a lot of things too when you do digital art, and maybe people aren't aware of. Say for example, and let's just go up here. Say for example, I'm gonna pick this orange is my, okay, why are you not letting me draw on that layer? Oh, because it's off. Say for example, let's do blue. Let's do a dark blue. Say you pick a blue, right? And you, oh man, I need a bigger brush. Sorry. And you do a blue or a purpley blue, whatever this is, and you do this color, right? Actually, let me do it in here. Let me do it where I can show you better. Hold on. Let's clear this. Say for example, you pick this blue, right? This is your shade. And this is where a lot of people get in trouble. When you have a box of color like do there, when you're picking a color like this, if you want to do shadow, you're going to go to the right and down and pick a color slightly darker that's going to be in the same color family, but your shadow color. And then if you're going to go and you're going to do a highlight, you're going to take your original color, go up and to the left, and you're going to get the lighter shade, which is going to be your highlight. So then you have your 3 colors when you do an object, that if the main color is here, if this is your main color here, then you have your shadow this color, and you have your highlights, you know, in the other. And then whatever object you're doing, your colors are all aligned. The problem is a lot of times when people do color wheels, and I've watched artists do it online, they change the color to get a little lighter shade, but then when doing that, you're actually in a different color palette. This is not the same color or highlight to that blue. You know, that's more for a baby blue. That would be more for this color. A huge difference if you try to highlight in the wrong thing, and then all of a sudden you get colors that don't they clash together. They don't blend and merge properly. So you have to be very careful when picking colors, and this is the same thing for painters. You know, a lot of times painters, when mixing colors, you know, it's easy because you're just adding white or black to your initial color. You don't change the base color. But if you go and you change the base color to a different color, you're technically, it's wrong, and it looks funny. So you have to be careful there. Yeah, my stream ends up more like a class half the time. We end up talking about whatever. I'm sorry, I don't have bougie coffee today. I'm just drinking a little can of Pepsi. Because I had my bougie coffee earlier and I can't have it now. Otherwise, I'd be up for another 6 hours. But it's kind of interesting because somebody asked me like why I wanted to learn crochet. You know, one reason I wanted to learn crochet is amigurumis, and the second is I want to make myself a cardigan, whatever the little squares are called, cardigan. You know, pockets. I mean, big old, you know, whatever, yeah, cardigan, jacket thing.
Oh yeah.
With squares.
It's
What are
all
they
coming
called? What are the
together.
squares called? Granny squares. That's it. Morning, Elder Wolf. Welcome in. Yeah, granny squares. I want to make a granny square cardigan. And that would be really cool to learn how to do. Unfortunately, I don't know if I can do that. Any questions on art before I go back and color? Elder Wolf. Hey, all right. So back to our drawing, which I lost here, which we're coloring. Yeah. What were we doing? Coloring. Oh yeah. So like here, for example, I'm gonna just shade her face. Let's shade her face. I'm gonna do the same thing. Like I'm gonna add a highlight layer or a shadow layer. I'm gonna link it. I'm gonna get my marker smaller for one. Maybe about an 8. We're gonna pick a darker color, maybe a 10, and then you're gonna go in here and you're gonna, it's the wrong shade, and you're gonna, if I'm gonna darken shadow this cheek, you know, for example, that's the wrong color. Why is that so green? Did I pick a green? Yeah, that's better. Too dark. You just color where the shadow is going to be. And then you make, that's how you make objects that are 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, and so on. I'm gonna have to blow this up so I can see it. I can't see it. Oh wow, I'm crooked. Yeah, no, don't do crap. Uh-oh, something just beeped like it was dying. Did you hear that on stream? Well, I heard a beep like something was running out of power. Okay. Then you add your highlights, right? Or your shadow. Oh, and that's the other thing too. You need to know what direction the light is coming. So if you can tell if the way I'm shading this, the light's coming from the left, not the right. But yeah, when I get done with this is gonna be cool. Huh. One of my favorite Animal Crossing characters. I may go play Animal Crossing right after this raid, tell you the truth, because I didn't do my dailies for today. If you haven't played Animal Crossing, there's a new collaboration with the toy company. So I guess in September, October, there's going to be 6 new dioramas coming out for Animal Crossing related. So for those of you who missed or want to get back into Animal Crossing, you get to see, you know, these new Animal Crossing toys. Which makes me think that there's a game coming. There has to be a game coming for the Switch. I wouldn't, you know, one of their biggest IPs, I don't think I'd ever see not coming. Oh, the shading? Yeah. I'll give you an example. Here, we'll give you a prime example. Shading, and just the basic, like we talked here, it's all dependent on where your light is coming from, right? So for example, say for example, your light source comes, okay, pen, line work. Say your light's coming this direction, right? And you have an object, I don't know, say this is an apple, right? Here, right? That's a terrible place for that apple too, by the way. Hold on, let me just move the whole thing over a little bit. So I have enough room to draw. So say this is your object, right? And you have a light source coming in from the left, and you have your apple. So when you go to shade your apple, your shadow then comes, you know, for your object does this, right? You have your apple, you have a light coming in, it's casting a shadow below, so you know all of this is going to be dark. You know that this apple is going to be a brighter color. Say this is this red. I don't know, we'll do a red apple. Say it's a red apple. Then you do your shadow is darker. It follows where that light is, and then your highlight and accents are all on this side where the light hits, right? So you have a shade. I should have just filled that apple in. Why didn't I do that? Let me just fill the apple in. I don't know what I'm thinking here. Can't do it on that layer, whatever. So you have your apple, right? And then you're going to add your highlights on top of that, and they're all where the light hits. So anywhere where the light would hit this apple, you know, is where you'd get a highlight. And so you kind of follow the lines, right? So basically you have an area that does this, right? Then you have a darker area down here that goes the other way, which all gets a darker highlight. And I can't do it because that line right there. And the shadow on the ground, which is all darker. And that's how you shade an object, right? So that's where...
Master, we have a visitor.
Oh, thank you for the check-in, Dr. Carter. Thank you for the follow. And that's where you learn to do the object, the shading and highlight. And a lot of times it's interesting too, because when I took art at the university level, you know, and you go through basic art courses or you take any art course, a lot of times it's basically put a bowl of fruit down in front of you, take a lamp, put a lamp on it, try to draw what you see, because the lamp will hit the objects. You can see the lighter, you can see the darker, you can see the thing, and that's what it is, right? And yeah, art is basically just practice, you know, whether digital or drawing. And I was talking earlier with Miscreates about it, because you know we both approach art a little different, the way we look at something. But no matter what the way we create our stickers or our emotes, they may differ slightly, but the beginning's all the same, right? Like the whole thing is you have to start with an object, a circle. So one of the things they teach you in art is just sit there and just try drawing a complete circle. Do hundreds of them on a piece of paper, and sooner or later that becomes natural to you, and you just do it. And then when you start learning, saying, okay, well now I want to do shading, you know, then you take your pencil. There's different methods for shading, and I'm just going to show you the simple one. You know, and it's called thatching, right? So this would be your level 1 shadow, right? Then if you're going to do your level 2 shadow, it's darker. You do all the same thing, a bunch of lines together, but then you take lines going the opposite way, right? And that's one shade darker than the first. Then you do it again. Well, I need it to go darker than that, so I want to do 3 levels. And this is called cross hatching, right? And you take your same marker and you do it again, and then you add a third direction over it, and now you have a level 3 shade where this shadow is darker, and each one gets bigger. You can do this on a piece of paper, you know, grid your paper, go 0 to 10 and do whatever. So you learn really quick. Say I want to shade this, and this is really dark. Well, I'm going to put the lines in here, down here. I'm going to go the other way. I want that really dark. Keep going, do another 4 directions, and then all of a sudden you have this really dark shadow underneath your object. Stippling is brutal. Stippling is tough. So and if you want to see somebody stippling, was it Show Me Arts who was doing the stippling? Yeah, it was Show Me Arts. He did a sailboat. Oh my God, it was, and the dog. That's right, he did him in stippling, and it was gorgeous. And stippling, if you don't know, for those who are new to that, is basically this. You're basically just sitting here putting dots on a piece of paper repetitively. And of course my pen's not working really well. And you just keep going over and over and over until you make your object or whatever. So like if I was drawing this apple, I would sit there, each color block would be just dots side by side. I would just sit there and dot that for hours. And that is one tough go. And I did that. I tried that on, I think this piece right here. I was doing Nami and I did 3 different ink techniques. Because I was doing the oh, that moved that. I don't want to move that layer. I did this, and I'm going to put a new layer up here just for giggles. So I did this, and I did 3 different techniques. I did this. Why is that not showing up in green? I did this, and I did, you know, this traditional method of doing a dark highlight, solid dark to make shape and shadow. Then I did the old, if you ever look at an old manuscript from the British, it's a lot of British works, like, you know, you saw the books on, it showed you birds of the Galapagos, you know, those old history books. They did this technique here, which is a line shadow to make the cloud, right? So I added that, and then I did down here, I started to do the stippling to give the shadow to the water, and it's tough. And I said, wait a minute, you know, that's not going to show up on an image when I go to 3D print that. So it was basically, you know, I started that process, and then I turned around and said, wait, you know, that's not going to work properly. So when I 3D printed it, you're not going to see all of the stippling down here because it becomes one kind of gray mesh. And same in the clouds, you get a different technique. You can see some of the lines, but they kind of end up blurring the way it prints it. And so I turned it into, you know, 3D printable piece, which you can hang on your wall and do whatever with. So it's like that, which looks good, by the way. But yeah, stippling is tough. So if you've never done it, stippling is really hard, and really I'm with you. I'm impressed with anybody. Like when I watched Show Me Arts do those 2 pieces earlier in the year, it was a surprise. It was like, holy smokes. Oh yeah, people yeah. No, people are very good. And you can do anything with art. Like I could sit here, and if I wanted to do this in a pencil, I could pencil highlight this whole image. But it just takes patience, right? Basically, it's sit down, be patient, practice over and over. It's a lot of practice, right? Oh, ad break. I had a funny feeling it should pop up. And it's good because it's the last one before we roll out over to Xylera. Is it Xylera? Yeah, Xylera, right? Yeah. Xyleria. Should probably pop her open. And she's doing crochet. And why am I watching myself 3 times? Oh, because it got rated into. Everybody I was watching rated into me tonight. Well, yeah, hopefully everybody's having fun and not sleeping, but us artists are kind of nuts. Yeah, we are nuts. I'm nuts. And I'm going to have my last 2 Twizzlers, which are the orange cream pop Twizzlers, which are freaking good. Those are good. Oh my god, they're like, oh, have you tried these? Have you seen the new ones? Have you seen the limited edition pink lemonade ones? Oh my, they're good. They're good. What do you mean starchy? They're not starchy. That's a nice shot. Did you get that? And then they're bad. You been enjoying the raid train? The raid train's been fun. And for those of you new to me, well, thank you for coming in and thank you for following. I appreciate that. But yeah, I like Twizzlers. Of course, my nutritionist, I lie to her when I'm eating snacks. Oh my God. It's kind of funny because we were going through this thing and she was telling me, you know, oh, red vine? Yeah. She was telling me, you know, as going through this cancer treatment, I need to keep the protein up. So it's basically drink Boost all day long. And I was like, I cannot drink 4 or 5 things of Boost. One, the cost is outrageous to me. Buying a case and, you know, come in a little 6-pack, and if you want me to drink 5 a day, you know, it's like $20 a day, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. I can't afford to do that. 1, 2, wanted me to do that after surgery. Well, when you don't have the normal stomach, and I try to tell them, if you're putting food in and you're supposed to have water or liquid to wash it down, if you're drinking an entire thing of liquid and trying to eat food, you can't get both in. It doesn't work that way. It ends up creating what they call dumping, which is when your stomach pushes food early into your intestines and then it flushes out, because you can't do that, right? So it was hard to, like, I always tell her, it's like, you know, hey, I can't drink that much fluid. It's terrible. And the other thing too, dumping is also created from a lot of sugar. So I'm a type 2 diabetic. So I'm very aware of my sugar intake and things like that. And I don't eat a lot of carbs. You know, I don't eat a lot of breading at all. And I don't eat sugar. This is probably the only sugar I'll have. You know, every now and then I'll have a little bit, couple pieces, but that couple pieces of sugar, I'm having 20 grams of sugar, and that's all the sugar I have all day, right? So it's like, and I did that, and I'm a type 2 diabetic who's not on the pills, and I'm managing diabetes. I'm within the range good enough because of my body can do whatever. It's like, you know, I wasn't going to sit here and be on the pills for the rest of my life. You know, it was just like I wasn't doing it. Yeah, I love bread too, but if I, like, say for example, I have a sandwich, well, that's the only piece of bread I'm having that day. I'm not doing like, I used to have toast in the morning, then I'd have a sandwich, then I'd have dinner rolls, then I'd have a bag of chips, you know. It's like, hold on, slow down, too much carbs, right? I cut that down. You can, a lot of the health issues I think you can handle by just being healthier. And unfortunately, the sad state of healthcare in most of the world, and I had a pretty long talk with one of the doctors, and I watched the way they handled a woman who came in and was going to have surgery, and she was overweight, and they explained some things to her, and I listened to it. The medical system is so overworked or overrun, it's basically become survival of the fittest. If you're not somewhat healthy or going to have a surgery, if the surgery isn't going to benefit you because you're overweight or there's a lower chance of success, they're not going to do it. They pass it on and do it to the person they can save. There are so many people who are going in and they're not going to be able to fix everybody because we don't have enough doctors, especially in this part of the world. They're becoming a little selective. And I know one of my wife's friends, she's a lovely lady. You know, she was told she was diabetic. She's older. She's worked really hard to get her weight down because she's got to have a hip surgery. They basically, you know, well, you can't have this until you get to this level. It's getting really strict and it's really hard. So I really feel for people who have things, but you know, you gotta start. Everybody has to start thinking, hey, I got to be a little healthier in life, you know. You know, because I went through the cancer thing, and I have a type of cancer that I shouldn't have for another 20 years. It's usually an old person's disease is what they tell me, which I happen to get. But I also live in a place where they put out on the news, 5-6 years ago, that 1 in every 2 people in this province is going to have cancer in their lifetime of some type. And that being true, in my household, I had 2 of the 4 adults already have cancer. And I lost my wife to cancer, so a few years ago. So, and it's really weird too. We had different types of cancer, but both husband and wife have cancer. And it's like, well, that's a terrible statistic, right? So you look at it, and I go through the cancer process. I've already been to the end of it. I already know what palliative care does. I already know when everything fails, because my wife's cancer, she had an ovarian cyst that ruptured. And basically it became 6-week race between that and cancer. And when it was all said and done, you could have taken an x-ray of my wife, laid it down on the floor, taken a handful of sand and thrown sand all over it. And anywhere the sand landed, she had cancer. It was the most aggressive, crazy, whatever thing. So I got to watch or witness or go through, I guess, the process of watching somebody who's fully functional go to an invalid, to where I would have to bathe and move and to bedridden in a matter of weeks. And it's the most brutal thing to ever watch. And then, of course, I get cancer, and it's slightly different, and I get a chance to survive because they caught it, I guess, a little early. But it's the craziest thing to watch. And then when I go to the chemo treatments and therapy, most of them are seniors. But most heartbreaking thing for me is children. I cannot watch a child come in for radiation or chemotherapy, because no child should ever have to go through some of the stuff I had to go through. And it's the most horrible thing. And like in my type of cancer, I had it in my throat. So basically it was closing my throat. So I went months with, they put stents in, which are basically like a metal straw. They put a metal straw in your throat to keep the cancer from closing your throat so you can get food down. But then try to get food down a metal straw. Everything's pureed. And that's the worst. I mean, it's hard. It was hard enough to put, like I'd order a Chinese chicken dish with noodles, chicken, vegetables, whatever. The whole thing went right in a blender, added some liquid chicken broth, blended it up so I could eat it, because there was no way I could eat the parts in it. And that's hard to do. And to watch, when you watch children come in and they have to, and they would have to go through something I'm going through, that should never happen. And that's one of the reasons, like both this year and last year, I do the St. Jude's children thing. Like I streamed the entire 2 weeks just for St. Jude. It is heartbreaking watching children go through that. But yeah. But I'm a survivor. I'm making it. And I'm gonna find a sugar mama. And that's the way it's gonna go. What now? Yeah. Somebody's got to check what's that. Oh, she's on a break. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I saved the message. Hold on. I might have copied and pasted. Yep. No, I got it. So, for those of you who are going to go here in a bit, here's the raid thing. Oh, did we ever look up the word training? Now that my English side of the brain kicked in. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no, see, I was correct. It isn't what... It's training referring to training, not riding a train. See, that's what threw me off. Okay. I think Supreme's in here too, right? I'm going to make a quick English note. The happy rating and training training when riding a train doesn't ever end in ing. That only refers to the process of learning new skills. So when I see that in my head, I know what it's supposed to mean or what it's supposed to do, but technically, English-wise, it's incorrect. Just an FYI. That's where the English degree kicks in and says, "Wait a minute." Oh, just saying. But I know what it means. I know what it is, and it's fine. But it just, from the, if I was going to be technically English correct, I was like, wait a minute, something's off. Well, the next time I pop into your stream, Supreme, you can explain it. No, nothing negative there. I'm perfectly okay with it. I'm just saying. My English degree kicked in and said, wait a minute, something's not right. My head. But I thought I'd just say that. Oh, and after we raid, for those who are watching me, I will be back. I will set up a stream again and go back and work on some stuff. I think I got to go back into Animal Crossing and do my daily real quick. But it was turnip day, and I didn't buy any turnips this morning, so there won't be an event. I didn't miss any events. I like her BBR back screen though, with the bear. I'm watching her stream right now too as we're talking. Oh, it's terrible. I remember I was helping my stepson through high school, and the teacher was teaching math and couldn't teach the math she was showing. And so I had to, there was something wrong and he was getting in trouble for something. I was like, no, that's actually correct. So I went and had a conversation with her. Oh my God, it was terrible. I was like, she couldn't even do the math. She couldn't do the algebra. And I was like, why are you teaching algebra if you can't do it? All right, so is she ready? We're early, a few minutes. 7 minutes. We'll go in a couple minutes. Oh, she's doing an amigurumi. What is she doing? I love the new eyes on some of these amigurumis. The guy was watching Clem the other day, and I guess you could put eyes in that have like they screw in, so they won't come out. But I love some of the new eyes that they make for these amigurumis and stuff, and the different colors and shapes, and they're getting better. They're better than those wiggly ones with the squiggly eyes or whatever. Oh, that's gonna be cute. But anyway, so any questions on my end on art or Nova Scotia or wherever else, or Canada for that matter? And yes, we're the Maritimes, and most of the North Atlantic states are all relatives of one another. I mean, I know like my wife's family's got family in New Hampshire, Boston. I've got family in New York, Boston, Newfoundland. Families all up and down that coast. I mean, that's just the way it works. We're all related. Oh, well, thank you, Joyful. Thank you for being here. That's Steve from Toronto. Everybody asks that question. I don't know. No, I do not. No, I don't know Steve from Toronto. The only Steve I know, well, I don't know. Actually, I don't know any actual Steves in Toronto. And I'm just glad we didn't have a hockey talk about the Leafs or anything. Oh, I could have gone to town on them suckers. But yeah, and then we'll catch everybody in their streams here in the next few days, because I think tomorrow's schedule you're going to have, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, Lady B, Supreme, Clan, Celtic Lass, Bitcraft, Tina CI, Vixen, Crafty Cub, Dub Demo, and Strawberry Jim, and Ghost Class in the morning or overnight. So it's a good lineup for tomorrow. It's a good lineup for tomorrow. I don't know, Tina, are you doing diamond painting tomorrow, or are you doing something else? I know you were doing organizing too of the craft space, but you got to watch the video on Joy's craft space, and then it changes everything we ever thought of organization. It really does. She's really good at it. I got to get some pointers because my office looks like crap. I should hang up the screen back here too. But yeah, I love this because you can build your own thing, and I've got hooks, and I took the art and it just hangs up. There it is, right? So you can hang a piece that's printed. And yeah, once I get these all working and printed properly, I'll put them out and give them away for what do you call it? Rewards and channel points, and maybe even sell a few. And there's a big picture that I've never finished, and this was my attempt at painting. I never showed you, but I was going to attempt to paint. Because my wife is a painter, and she challenged me to do a picture, and I never did it. I never finished it, but I started drawing this gigantic canvas, lighthouse and a boat, which one day I will sit and finish painting this. But it reminds me that I haven't done it, and I've got to do it. One day I'll have a painting stream, but yeah, it's gonna be fun. Oh, doing diamond painting. Oh, diamond painting is great. That's great, relaxing, good time for talks and chats, and I love watching diamond painting. And your stream's cozy and nice. Anyway, it's a great conversation. And that's, I guess, an interesting one too, because I should have done a poll. Like, a lot of people, how many people are more for the cozy streams where you get to actually communicate with the streamer versus being in the large stream where it's basically they're putting on a show and you kind of just going along. That's basically the two different types, and I think I'm more inclined to the cozy hangout. Let's just talk and have a conversation. That's me, kind of laid back in a way, but okay, sounds good. I got to do a raid call here in a second too, huh? Where's that window? That means I need to go back over here in the dashboard. And then we have to do, we already posted the raid message, did I not? Just in case you don't have it, we'll put it again. You like cozy? Joyful likes cozy. Nice, I like cozy too. But I also like watching streamers actually get things done over a period of time. I think I just like the process, watching the process. So is she ready or is she what are we doing here? Yeah. Yep, that was my sugar for the day, because now I can't have this coffee, Chris. I'm gonna have to have it for breakfast. Or over the midnight stream here. How much sugar's in that? Oh, that's not bad. But the problem is the carbs and the sugar. Most people don't realize that the carbs turn to sugar. So you don't want to have both. We're good to raid out? Well, okay. Let me get that set up. Well, thank you everybody for being here. I hope you had a good time, and we'll see everybody again soon. Let me get the raid channel thing. And her name is Zylera. Yeah, I'm trying to go through. Oh, there it is. ZYLAERA. Going through the followers, right? Because I have all the followers. And then for those, for me, I will be back in like 5 minutes. I'll be back in 3 minutes once we go for say hello. All right, so we're gonna start the raid. So thank you everybody for being here, and I hope you enjoyed the raid train. Your next up will be Zylera. She's working on an amigurumi, and this will continue for a couple hours, and we're all ready. So everybody's got a message. Don't forget to say hi over there and have fun. And thank you for the follows. Thank you for the support. And Good seeing you. Hopefully see you again sometime. And have a good night. And eat something good. Here we go.